Hello everybody. Hi, so my name is Joe. I have been posting on this channel and I don't usually post videos like this, but I wanted to give it a shot and let you guys know what's going on with me. I'm not really usually one to complain about services or whatever, but I'm having a little bit of trouble processing one of these situations with Blizzard as a consumer of their software for many decades. I just wanted to talk about it and I wanted to see what other people think. So I created this video to kind of see what other people on YouTube or wherever think. So I've been playing Blizzard games for a very long time, for pretty much the 30 years that Warcraft has existed. I remember playing Warcraft 1 in my school library, and I would install it with a floppy disk that I got from another friend um, who, was real techie, and we would install it and we'd play it. His dad played it, so he got it from like his dad. So we all would like install it on all the computers. And I remember it kept getting deleted, so we'd have to go check and then reinstall it. And pretty sure we were frustrating for the librarian. But the point I'm making here is that I've been playing Blizzard games for a very long time. I've enjoyed just about every game that Blizzard has ever released, with the exception of Diablo 4. And I'm a pretty dedicated fan of their stuff. The only other time I really had a rough time is when they were having all those sexual assault allegations in their offices. I kind of stopped playing Blizzard games for a little while back then, but I've sure enough, just like everyone else, started up again. Anyway, just to kind of prove to you that I'm still going strong with the Blizzard stuff, I just want to show you my Battle.net account real quick. I'm going to go switch scenes here. So you can see here I buy a lot of stuff. We got a bunch of WoW tokens. I bought the Brutosaur subs, more WoW tokens, subscription, and then I bought the epic version of War Within, the pre-release. It was kind of not worth it, but I'm not really upset about it. I never really complained about it, even though it ended up kind of not being a waste of money in my opinion. But I bought it. But the thing I'm going to really come back to here is this race change that I had. And I don't know what it is about it, but I just can't get over it. It seems like I've been kind of misled and abused in a way that I haven't, despite, and I'm like, obviously, if you look at this list, you can see that I'm very happy to be abused. I've bought 12 WoW tokens in the last 2 months, bought a Brutosaur, I've bought the most expensive version, well, I guess the $100 version. It might not technically be the most expensive version, but a very expensive version, the pre-release version of War Within. So I am totally like somebody who likes to spend money. Now, the issue that I had was with World of Warcraft, which you see right here on your screen. I was looking through the game and I saw, oh, cool, you can be other races. You can play other classes as a Dracthir, other than the Evoker, and this is a new thing. So I was like looking through, my abilities, and I saw under Evoker in um, the Evoker menu, there's Tail Swipe, and right underneath Tail Swipe it says racial. Now this is basically what this video is about. The racial in that word is really the key thing that I want to touch on, because really that's really what I take issue with. The fact that they are calling tail swipe a racial. When I saw this, I was like, holy crap, you can get tail swipe and wing buffet on like all classes that can play. That's like OP. It's obviously at this point I realized it was too good to be true. So, without doing the due diligence, without doing enough research, and just kind of believing what's in front of me on the screen and what they say, and just expecting them to not just lie to my face like this, I went ahead and purchased a race change for my hunter. Now, my hunter was a High Mountain Tauren, and sure enough, as soon as I got through the character creation, I realized that this ability, Tail Swipe, does not exist on my hunter, and I was a little bit upset. First thing I did is I went ahead and filed a ticket and said, "Hey, man, you know it says racial in the game, right? So it's not a racial. It says racial. I went to buy it. I made that purchase under the pretense that it was a racial, and it's not a racial. The tail swipe is not a racial ability. That would imply that it is attached to a a race, not the class. I was misled by the common conventions of the game, and I would like my race change reversed and refunded. I also said something about Wing Buffet being game, but you know what? I don't really care about that. That's really not part of the point. You can't. You can talent into Wing Buffet and Tail Swipe for that matter in the Evoker class and make it better. But still, either way, with the Evokers, it exists on both as a racial. It doesn't say it's a class um, ability. And here's what they replied: "Hello, Joseph. My name is Game Master Clulorian, and I will be looking into your query today. Uh, Joseph, since the race change has been used, are we able to refund the product, services, and changes?" So first off, he didn't even use like a sentence that makes sense. Are we able? We know that this isn't the answer you were hoping for, but please understand that we are just following our policy and that our hands are tied here. Here's a link to give you information about this. And if you want to look at this, this is just like real whatever kind of page. It's kind of nothing, you know. It just says like, oh, blah blah blah. I don't even want to go into it. And he says, "We thank you for your understanding, and please reach out again if you require further assistance." Okay, so basically, no. Okay, and then I just wrote, time to unsub again, which I did do, by the way. I know that the game is on, but my sub will run out in a couple days. And this ticket is marked. And then I wrote again, "Hey, Joseph, thank you for reaching out to the Blizzard family. This is Game Master Kariani, and I'm happy to assist you today. We understand that your request about a refund and also a reversal from your race change. Let me check into the account for further actions. I have carefully reviewed your account. After a thorough investigation, I regret to inform you that we are unable to process the refund since the character service has been consumed. While I understand that this may not be the answer you were hoping for, I hope it doesn't diminish the epic experience you've been having with us. Please know that we're happy to support you and provide assistance in any way we can moving forward. We truly appreciate your understanding, and if you have any further questions or need additional help, please don't hesitate to reach out. Best regards." And then I just wrote to them, "A racial is attached to a race. A racial is not attached to a class. The ability should not say racial. I have unsubbed. I was planning to buy a WoW token today. All I want is an additional race change so that I can change back to what it was and the credit for the amount of the race change. It's more than reasonable considering the hundreds of dollars I've spent on the game over the last few months. I went ahead and unsubbed. I will maybe check to see if you guys want to be more accommodating and accountable to the misleading in-game abilities. It has been fun, but I will not be able to enjoy the game knowing that I've been treated unfairly. Farewell." And then they just reply, "Greetings, Joseph. Thank you for contacting Blizzard Entertainment. This is the Game Master, whatever. I reviewed your previous ticket, and yes, I would like to check to see what happens. It seems that you want an additional race change so that you can change back to the character was, Joseph. I see you've been with us for 20 years, and I have. I'm a vanilla player. We really appreciate the time that you've been sharing with us. It's also a pleasure to have a sweet talk with players like you." This isn't a sweet talk. "However, I'm afraid that it won't be possible to grant you your new race change token. When you make a purchase on the Battle.net shop, we usually receive the product or service immediately, and the refund or new token is not a compensation, as a compensation is not always possible. With that said, we are able to verify that there is no margin for one this time. Note that refunds are always exceptions approved under restricted conditions. I would like to help you with the refund of this order, but I'm afraid customer support can't bypass these restrictions. I hope this won't stop you from sharing more time with the Blizzard family. Even though this is not the outcome you desired, we appreciate your comprehension on this matter." I don't really comprehend it. It doesn't make any sense to me, so don't thank me for my comprehension if I'm not comprehending what you're saying because you sound like you're crazy. Um, Please let us know if we can assist you in something else. We'll be happy to help. Now, I sent two more messages. This is just basically a JPEG of the ability right here, like um, where it says racial, right here. I just screenshotted basically this and sent it to them, and it's just like saying like, bro, it's a racial. Like it says racial. Just take that word away, and I would have never bought it. You know what I mean? I would have never paid for the race change. It shouldn't say that. It shouldn't say racial. Okay. Anyway, on to the next thing. So, I got kind of mad and I posted some stuff on Twitter, and now I'm obviously gonna post a video on YouTube. But I made this post and I just kind of wanted to see what other people were saying. We're gonna kind of go over some of that, and it's surprising that for me I feel a bit outraged, but a lot of people are kind of coming to Blizzard's defense, which, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have really expected in this type of situation. So this is my post. I said, Evoker's tail swipe ability says racial on it. Why? If the Evoker tail swipe is a class ability, why is it labeled as a racial in the UI? I race changed my hunter to Dracthir thinking I would have the tail swipe ability. I was dead wrong. It's misleading. I put a ticket in to reverse the change and to be refunded or at least credited. I was refused on both accords by a GM. I went ahead and turned off my sub. This is the first gap in my sub since vanilla. That's true. This person said, do you have a tail? That makes no sense. This person said, good news, everyone. I've finally invented a method to turn low-quality bait posts into pure electricity. I think that's a bot post. This is my replies to them. This person says, so it was changed in 11.0.5. Did you do this before or after it was reported in September as changed? I did see in the patch notes that tail swipe was going to be omitted, but when I saw it in my spell book saying racial, I assumed that it wasn't, because if it's a racial, then it would be on the race. This is why, for this particular instance, Dracthir is unique. It's the only racial I know of that is only on one particular class. That I don't. If you guys know in the comments, let me know. But I can't think of a place where something like that exists elsewhere. I said I purchased the race change November 13th, 2024. Yesterday I was playing my Evoker and saw that it was still listed as the spellbook as racial. So I went ahead and race changed my hunter. No tail whip on Dracthir hunter. Tail whip is what I meant. Tail swipe is an Evoker ability. I'm fine with tail swipe not being a racial or even being usable in my hunter for that matter. I'm not fine with it saying racial right below if it's a class ability. Scoocher here says, yeah, that's not cool. I get that it's probably an error that Blizzard left the wording there. They did state in the blue post that they were going to change it, though. I still think that if you did the race change for that ability and didn't get it, they should compensate you for the error. It sucks. Yes, I agree with you, Scoocher. I think that if you label something incorrectly and you sell it to somebody and they come back and say, hey, this isn't what you sold me, they should give you your money back pretty much in all instances unless they're wanting to steal from you. And then I wrote, yep, no refund. I was super happy to throw money at them in early access, 12 wild tokens and a Brutosaur I bought from them. It's crazy that after hundreds of dollars they got from me, they would lose a customer like me to something like this. I think they should take responsibility for not labeling their abilities correctly. I would honestly be okay with just a free refund or a free race change so I could go back, even at a loss, but getting neither just really took the fun out of the game for me. And really, that is the problem here, is that it's not so much that I care about the $25, because obviously, if you look at my account, I'm willing to spend crap tons of money on this game. And I was actually happy to do so, up until today. But I'm not happy to be lied to and cheated, okay? And that's what happened here. If the Evoker 12 Swipe is a cast ability, why is it labeled as a racial? Yeah, it says racial, but it's also in the Evoker category, but not general. So this guy, Battle Cruiser, is making the point that it's in the spellbook under Evoker, and it's not a racial. My response to that was like, well, I mean, all racials have class specific traits, right? And I used Arcane Torrent as an example. Like, it restores a different type of resource depending on what your class is. And that's fine. But if it exists and it says it's a racial, my expectation would be that there are class specific traits to this racial. Maybe it has a different cooldown. Maybe it has less reach. Maybe it's different in some way, shape, or form. But non existent, that is not, that's very misleading. Okay, so if it's a racial, it should be contained to the race. If it's a class ability, it should be maintained, uh, should be with the class. Seems simple, right? But still, he's kind of battle cruiser. He's kind of going more on the Blizzard side. Um, yeah, I just kind of this is what I said right here. And then he's like, why respond to me with that inside the Arcane Torrent, which is in the general tree regardless of what class you're playing on. Tailswipe is an evoker tree, which signals that it's specific to evoker class. Okay, so he's making the argument that it's in the evoker tree. Um, by the way, the bonuses to it are in the evoker tree, but the actual base skill is not in the evoker tree. The actual base skill, you just have it automatically, as is the case with all racers. Now, if the evoker has the ability to have things that enhance, augment the evoker racial abilities, that's fine. Totally fine with that. That's not a lie, right? But if you are totally omitting an ability by a certain class, then it's a class ability. It is not a racial ability. You can have class traits that enhance a racial ability. Sure, no problem with that. So it being in the talent tree is totally irrelevant to what I'm saying. You can have abilities in the talent tree that improve the racial abilities, but they're still racial abilities that should come with the race. If I had a tail swipe with a 3-minute cooldown and a wing buffet with a 3-minute cooldown, just like you get with a base evoker without any talents in, I would have no problem. Okay, they removed it because it was a bit OP, I think, and that's fine. But I bought it thinking it was probably one of those things that's OP and they're going to remove it later, which isn't the case. They removed it, and then they didn't change the labeling for it, probably with the hope that people like me, poor little, you know, victims, would go and buy it and just not say anything and just pay money for a race change when really it's not what you want to get. And then I just say, regardless of what spellbook it in, it shouldn't say racial next to it. Then he tells me to submit a bug, which I did already. No response on that, by the way. Did you submit it as a bug as well? I'm asking him, hey, did you submit it as a bug? And by the way, if you're watching this video and you think that this is wrong, please submit it as a bug yourself. Just show Blizz that, this is a problem. You shouldn't be labeling things incorrectly. This is a very simple thing to fix. I'm a software engineer previously as my background, and something like this, just changing text in a game, is not difficult so long as the text is not hard-coded, okay? And it's not. So he's asking me to submit a bug, and he says they probably won't fix it because it's low impact. And I said, okay, well, if it's low impact, it's not low impact for me because I bought a race change under false pretenses. And he said, the only pretense that matters is this. And he brings up this list of traits. This is what you see at the character creation menu. Okay, so he's making the argument that it's not mentioned in the character creation menu. This is kind of a crazy thing because actually they're using the icon of tail swipe. That's not the wing buffet icon. That's the tail swipe icon. And tail swipe is an ability where you spin, right? And it could easily be understood by the player that that is a knockback ability because you're spinning with wings, right? So just this to me does not say that tail swipe does not exist within all Dracthirs. It's not clear to me. If it said wing buffet here, then I would feel that it's clear. But you do knock back enemies with the wind, or maybe not with the wind with tail swipe. I guess you're technically wiping them back with your knocking them back with your tail, but it still has kind of a windish animation. So to say that this is telling me that you're not using tail swipe on other classes, I don't think that's clear. I think at the very least this is gray at best. right? If anything, they're using the tail swipe icon. That's a tail there, right? That's a tail. Why are you putting a tail on the screen if we don't have the tail ability? Are you intentionally trying to trick me, or are you just being negligent? It's one of those two. And this guy's just like, I don't know what knockback enemies with your wings translates to, but that's literally wing buffet. So he's just kind of a little bit of doing some Blizzard standing and saying, hey, you know, I don't care if it's a freaking picture of a tail, right? It's my fault. It's my fault for reading, right? For reading the label that they put on it and thinking that it means one thing. This is just me saying, you know, I saw that, and he's like, you should have spent 3 seconds to read the text. Well, to be fair, he's right. I probably should have done more research before paying for the race change. But really, usually if you just read the in-game text descriptions of the abilities, that should be enough. Like, I shouldn't have to go look through 30 websites, patch notes. If it says it's a racial, it should be a racial at the end of the day. So he's right in that for my own benefit, for my well-being, for my personal experience, it probably would have been better for me to do more research. And he's 100% right about that. But at the same time, that doesn't abdicate Blizzard from the responsibility of properly labeling their abilities. I made a mistake that came to my own detriment. They made a mistake that came to my own detriment. And I think that I'm willing to take responsibility for the mistake of not doing enough of due diligence, because I should know that, you know, a lot of times Blizzard will sell you basically an ability and have it be a load of poo-poo. And that's what happened in this case. But I did make a mistake. But at the same time, I think as a consumer, I shouldn't put up with this kind of crap. And then we had a funny little thing. This panda is like, do I have a tail? Meaning like they're a panda, so can they do tail swipe? And then this person said, you do, but it won't strike fear into people's hearts by threatening to swipe them because it's very fluffy. And that's kind of a fun thing. So what I want to know now, what I want to know from you all is, what do you think? All right? What do you think about this situation? Do you think that I'm wrong? Do you think that I'm crazy? A lot of you probably are watching this video thinking that I'm crazy and that my expectations are too high. If something is labeled incorrectly in the game, you should just give them $25 and shut up. If that's what you think, I'm not really in the same camp as you. If you think that I'm right, let me know in the comments. Let me know about what you think about the change of making it so Dracthirs can have multiple chases or multiple classes. Let me know if you think that there's any luck, there's any point in making videos like this. I don't know, there might not be. At the very least, it's helping me to get it out, because, I mean, my girlfriend doesn't want to hear about this, so you guys are the next best thing, right? So maybe I might be able to get through to somebody, and at the very least, hopefully I can find some solidarity in this issue. But yeah, leave a comment, please. Subscribe to the channel. Tell me what you think, and I'm signing out now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Aloha from Hawaii. Farewell.